It had already been moving for nearly 40 minutes. Early morning, just before sunrise. Somewhere on a secondary road in eastern Ukraine, a Russian artillery convoy rolled forward at low speed. Self-propelled howitzers, ammunition trucks, command vehicles, spaced out just enough to avoid traffic congestion but close enough to stay under a single radio net. From the outside, it looked routine. From above, it looked like a perfect target. The convoy had left its firing position during the night. Fire mission completed, tubes hot, barrels still warm from hours of shelling Ukrainian positions. Now they were relocating, standard artillery doctrine. Shoot, move, survive. But this time, someone had been watching the entire process. High above the road, well beyond the range of small arms and barely audible against the wind, Ukrainian reconnaissance drones had been tracking the column since it departed, not attacking, not revealing themselves, just waiting. For the Russian crews inside the armored vehicles, this stretch of road felt relatively safe. No immediate contact, no incoming fire. Electronic warfare units reported no anomalies. GPS was stable, radios were clear. What they didn't know was that the drones overhead weren't the weapons, they were the eyes. Several kilometers away in a concealed tree line, Ukrainian operators studied a live video feed. The convoy was stretched out now, exactly what they wanted. Artillery pieces in front, ammunition trucks in the middle, command vehicle near the rear. That order mattered. Let them move a little further, one operator said calmly. They're almost in the kill zone. The kill zone wasn't random. Ahead of the convoy, the road narrowed slightly, bordered by soft ground and shallow drainage ditches. Turning around would be difficult. Off-road movement for heavy artillery would be slow and risky. This wasn't an ambush by chance. It was geography, timing, and patience. At 6:12 local time, the convoy entered it. That's when the drones changed behavior. From a holding pattern several kilometers away, Ukrainian FPV attack drones powered up simultaneously. Their motors whined to life. Operators leaned forward, hands steady on controllers. No radio chatter, no warning. The first drone dropped altitude fast, racing just above the road surface. The lead artillery vehicle never saw it. The drone struck the howitzer's barrel near the recoil system. The explosion didn't destroy the vehicle outright, but it didn't need to. The blast warped the barrel, jammed the elevation mechanism, and killed the crew inside instantly. The column slammed its brakes. Before anyone could react, the second drone hit. This one went straight for the ammunition truck behind the lead gun. The explosion was immediate and catastrophic. Shells cooked off in sequence. One detonation triggered another. A fireball surged upward, throwing fragments hundreds of meters in every direction. The shockwave ripped through the convoy, shattering optics, ripping antennas off vehicles, and knocking soldiers to the ground. That single hit changed everything. What had been an organized movement became chaos. Drivers tried to reverse. Artillery crews bailed out of vehicles. Radios exploded with overlapping calls. Contact, drones, drones! Then the third and fourth drones arrived. They didn't go for the guns, they went for the command vehicle. The first slammed into the roof, directly above the radio compartment. The blast shredded communications equipment, killed the officers inside, and cut the convoy off from higher command in an instant. The second followed seconds later, striking the engine block. Now the convoy was blind and deaf. From above, the Ukrainian reconnaissance drone kept transmitting calmly. The operators could see everything. Burning vehicles, disorganized movement, soldiers scattering into ditches and tree lines. This was the moment they had waited for. More FPV drones surged in. One hit another ammunition truck. Another dove into the rear howitzer, detonating against its turret ring. A sixth drone chased a vehicle attempting to flee the kill zone and struck its fuel tank. The road became a line of fire and smoke. Russian soldiers fired into the air with rifles and machine guns, but it was pointless. The drones were too fast, too small, and approaching from different angles. Some crews tried deploying smoke grenades. Others attempted to start electronic countermeasures. Too late. The drones were already inside the envelope. Within minutes, at least half the convoy was either destroyed or immobilized. Burning ammunition cooked off violently, sending secondary explosions ripping through nearby vehicles. The remaining artillery pieces were intact, but useless. No shells, no command, no safe route forward or back. And then, something else happened. Russian electronic warfare units finally came online. A sudden burst of interference washed across several drone feeds. Video flickered, latency spiked. One FPV drone lost signal and crashed harmlessly into a field. Another veered off course. But the Ukrainians had anticipated that too. The remaining drones were already committed, already diving. One last FPV drone came in low, threading between burning wrecks, and struck the final ammunition truck. That explosion sealed the convoy's fate. From that moment on, survival, not combat, became the Russian priority. Some soldiers fled on foot. Others tried dragging wounded comrades away from burning vehicles. A few attempted to establish a defensive perimeter, but without leadership and without coordination, it was meaningless. Above them, the reconnaissance drone lingered, recording everything. From first strike to final explosion, less than 12 minutes had passed. By the time Russian reinforcements began moving toward the area, there was nothing left to save. Later that morning, satellite images confirmed the damage. Multiple self-propelled howitzers destroyed or abandoned. At least 3 ammunition trucks completely obliterated. 1 command vehicle eliminated. An entire artillery battery removed from the battlefield. Not by counter-battery fire, not by airstrikes, but by drones that cost a fraction of a single artillery shell. Russian sources would later claim the convoy was hit during redeployment and that losses were minimal. Ukrainian channels released drone footage showing otherwise. For military analysts, the implications were clear. This wasn't just an ambush, it was a demonstration. Modern artillery relies on mobility and logistics. Guns without shells are dead weight. Convoys without protection are liabilities. And in a battle space saturated with drones, movement itself becomes dangerous. What made this strike especially effective wasn't just the explosions. It was patience. The Ukrainian drones didn't attack immediately. They waited. They allowed the convoy to stretch out. They waited for the terrain to trap heavy vehicles. They waited until ammunition was perfectly positioned to amplify the damage. And when they struck decisively. Russian electronic warfare did reduce drone effectiveness, but not fast enough. By the time jamming began, the critical damage had already been done. That's the lesson here. In modern warfare, reaction time is everything, and drones compress that time to almost nothing. Artillery units are designed to fear counter-battery radar. What they now have to fear is silence overhead. No warning shot, no incoming whistle, just a small motor sound, and then fire. This single convoy represented hours of bombardment potential, hundreds of shells that would never reach Ukrainian positions, guns that would never fire again, crews that would have to be replaced. Strategically, it was a small engagement. Operationally, it mattered. Because every destroyed artillery convoy shifts the balance just a little. It forces rerouting, it delays offensives, it drains morale, and it sends a message. Movement is no longer safe. Rear areas are no longer rear areas. And the sky is always watching. So here's the question for you. If artillery convoys can be wiped out in minutes by low-cost drones lying in wait, how do traditional armies adapt to a battlefield where every road could be a kill zone? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit like, subscribe for more deep dives into modern warfare, and share this video with someone who still thinks drones are just support tools. Because what happened here proves one thing very clearly. In today's war, the most dangerous weapon isn't always the biggest gun. It's the one that waits.